Hey, crypto media friends, welcome to an overtime show, late night Monday. You joined us for the talk with the feudals manager of the society of the feudals, community manager Keel Sesh. Check it out; it was a great talk with him. But wanted to touch base over this weekend. It's tough for me to. Because I'm working so hard to get to do a stream with you guys. You know, I think, especially at a time, it was just like during the weekend, it was just like, it was tanky, and I'm like, oh, I really want to talk to everybody, because you can see sort of how, you know, the general indicators, if you haven't been, you know, through these crashes and flash crashes before, they just present such great buying opportunities. And so I kind of wanted to, you know, I always like to touch base, even though if the news isn't good, you know, it's like I'm here and I'm in this space, I'm not going anywhere. And it's like already the markets are recovering like crazy. I think we all saw, it was a nice time to get some ETH on sale. That's kind of what I think of it as, you know, as this sort of stuff happens. It's such a great time to get some cheap ETH in a sense, or at least on sale. And so, I mean, it dipped down, you know, right below 4, and, you know, I picked some up because I need gas fees. I was just like, oh, sweet. It's like driving by a gas station and having, oh my gosh, these, I don't know what they do on Mondays here at the studio. At the studio lots on Mondays, apparently, is the night where they go nuts and they do all of the groundskeeping. So, you know, good old Charlie Munger, the chairman of FUD, we should call him, you know, just was like, crypto, I wish I wasn't even born. It's like, how old man and crotchety can you be with that statement? I guess we'll have to wait till Ebenezer sees the ghost of Christmas future before he starts throwing bitcoins all over the streets. And it's a happy day again. But, you know, the happy day came really, I think, as soon as it dropped down to, like, I think it was like 3, even lower, I thought, 3.8, it jumped really quick back up. And so it was a clear indicator of, you know, a lot of machinations going on beyond. You know, there was the general FUD, and there was people just needing to get out before the holidays. This type of stuff happens in the marketplaces, certainly the stock market, and I think people who are savvy in investing kind of know how this goes. But I'm sure this type of dip is absolutely frightening. It is absolutely frightening, because of the smart contract esque sort of notions of you know, long covered calls and liquidations, and just being automatic, and so making just prices dump like crazy, because these forced sales at whatever the market price is. That leaves opportunity currently in the space. You know, as these systems learn to improve upon themselves, it still gives opportunity, if you see it that way. But man, I tell you, it's scary when you look at that sea of red, especially in that 24-hour. Now that it's kind of past the 24-hour, everything kind of looks like it's mooning like crazy. But, you know, let's be honest. Let's keep the 7-day in mind as we're, you know, judging that. But Ethereum didn't really go anywhere, right? Was it ever? I don't know. There's so much utility within Ethereum. Even if we're, you know, people like to say like there's some sort of converse relationship between NFTs. You know, it's somewhat observable, but that's the thing, is for NFTs, utility is Ethereum, so you need it. And so, you know, Tether, that was the strangest part, was Tether, as everyone was heading for the hills, had such a bizarre dip. Like, I'd never seen a dip in Tether before. And that was one of those indicators where I was like, whoa, I have never seen that before. So it was quite interesting to see sort of the markets react. But again, you know, right away I started looking at, you know, where are the projects that I've been interested in, that are potential buys, at the moment. And so Polygon Matic, I think, was one of the ones that came to mind because it was at such a deep discount, given, I think, how aggressive they are. Side note, I do this live. Please like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. I do this live because literally this changes like every other day. And I want to try and give information based upon, sort of what I'm seeing and share that with you guys so that you can find it actionable. Again, no financial advice here. But when it comes to, specific NFT purchases or collections or even, altcoins, which have some utility within our space, there's some good finds to be had. And if you are getting this 6 months from now, I'm sorry. So quickly, yeah, it was kind of clear again with this this crash down below 2 is just like Matic Polygon has been very aggressive, and I think that's going to pay off in terms of like bringing more and better projects to the forefront of the space. By the way, they also have I think a call. It's not necessarily. It's more like an announcement call with Akash, and Akash just got battered. Akash was just like, I was just like licking my chops. I was just trying to dig and find for more, because you're going down the list, and like Akash is probably down in like the 200-300s now. It's like one of these like quasi mid caps, if you will. But it just got hammered, and it's been getting hammered. And it just got this huge, almost like blow down at levels I don't think it's been at for a long time. And so it's tricky. Do your own research with Akash. It's tricky because this doesn't represent the value of Akash, because when you're staking, you're getting 50% APR, APY, and so even though this is kind of dipped down from 5, this upper 5 up here, it's a bit annoying. It was a bit of a mining play. I think people had an idea that the Akash had an actual miner, a physical miner, and it was at the height of helium. And so people were like, "Oh yeah, helium," and then you can mine with Akash. You can mine like you do with helium. And there was one influencer in particular, and he was, when people find success, on these channels, they kind of keep doing the same thing over and over. He did like 20 reviews on Akash and how it's like helium, because the Akash mining sort of idea was a limited edition run. It was a very very small run, and it had what appeared to be a miner, but it's not. That's not the project. That's not Akash. Akash is more attacking AWS. It's attacking some big players, Google and Microsoft. So when you look at these, do your own research, because you look at a chart like that, you're like, oh gosh, this is tanking. Not tanking at all. It's actually doing, having held it for a while. It's the value of it has sort of just been very even, because they haven't done what they're about to do. And what they're about to do is start making big announcements, like with Polygon, about the absolutely massive disruption, like the ranked number 308, the massive disruption that is the Akash network. Soapbox getting down. So yeah, I think in terms of where I was looking, obviously if you're looking at those Metaverse plays, suddenly they were 20 to 30% off. So not a bad time, to jump into Decentraland and the Sandbox, which, oh, look at that. Decentraland coming back, reflipping the Sandbox. So a lot of opportunities. I think, put in the comment section where you guys saw the opportunities, but there are just so many. everywhere you looked, everything was down 25-30% in terms of like, coins that really had done well, except the funny enough the coin that we've been featuring a lot lately, Remark, didn't do too bad of a retrace. Honestly, it was quite it was the dip like everybody else, but I was like, oh my gosh, now it's time to double down on Remark. But I think it really just like it came back so fast because everyone recognized like, oh, okay, this is a weird flash crash thing and phenomenon, and it went like right back up. Before I think anyone really had a chance to understand like, okay, is there a bottom coming here? And it was like, nope, there it was. And and it continues to rise based on what we talk about here on the channel of smart NFTs and the burgeoning forefront that the potential of those have, which is very, very strong. I also went into one of the ones that I think I mentioned here as well. It's such a weird, hard play because it's been in consolidation for so long, Atari. But when I look at the potential of Sandbox and I see how dominant in the landscape and how those early partnerships with the Sandbox, how important Sandbox found Atari to include them in the very, very early stages of this game, because they know they needed experiences and they knew they needed somebody with experience and experiences, and that's what Atari has. I mentioned it on the channel before that they've done casinos, they've done great experiences in Decentraland, and they're bringing a lot of that know-how here to Sandbox, and I think that they can really sort of build upon the framework that is the Sandbox in terms of its ability to allow creators and artists to make games, create marketplaces, to then cash in and make money off of those experiences. It's already up 14%, like everything else. But it's been in consolidation for so long, and I guess just like it's so funny. You're like, oh wow, it's really on the upturn. But it had a huge heyday, back in the early summer, like the spring, and it was just kind of like a brutal fall. Like it wasn't doing anything. There wasn't anything to report on, it just seemed to be sort of in the doldrums. And then lately, there's been a bit more interest in what they're doing. And again, I think a lot of that has to do with the Metaverse and their ability to be present in the Metaverse and be super effective in terms of gaming. We all know the games, come on. And so I found it a good time, and so that's kind of where I ended up putting my couch money. It's just like in terms of liquidity, when these flash crashes happen, you're like, oh gosh, I really wanted to get into that, and I was kind of digging in the couch cushions, and it's at such a a low price that it seems like in terms of floors, the worst it's going to do is go down to like 4 cents, 5 cents. But I just don't see that happening given what I believe is going to happen in the Sandbox, and certainly just with all the intellectual property that they have at their disposal, and I just think it was an interesting play. So, but zero financial advice here on this channel. I just wanted to talk to you guys and let you guys know that this stuff happens in these markets, and it's brutal. It's really hard to see like all that sea of red, but when you see it unilaterally in a sea of red, to me that just signals buy. I'm just like, oh, okay, that's the market's reacting to Bitcoin dumping and something, and Charlie Munger, howling at the moon, and so the entire market reacted, but that doesn't change much for a lot of these projects. Like Akash, like Helium, some of these great disruptors like Erratix, like Radix, like, cause I thought of getting some polka dot, because it's just like those auctions are not fully over, so there's a couple of them that are still outstanding, and so you could get yourself some nice free coins by staking your polka dot into projects on that ecosystem. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, check out some of my other videos on the subject, and with that, I bid you guys adieu before the gardeners come back and just start howling on the thing. Thank you guys.